Yeah. So let's get to what's going on with you, Ryan, because this is some crazy shit, man. This is crazy.
Yeah. Right, so communication plan. What is up with this communication plan?
What the hell is that? What the hell is
seriously.
that? All right. Well, first I'd like to thank Councilmember Priforce for coming on, and the council majority, the 4 members that aren't named Khalima Priforce, have been just allied against him, and Mr. Priforce is the lone progressive on our council. The other 4 are, have made their peace with, developers and the business model of governance, corporate model, and Councilmember Priforce is, the more people power, and that's why I have gravitated towards him. Everyone's asking me, why do you like Councilmember Priforce so much? It's just that simple reason: people power. I've lived here since 1982, and all I've seen is just the corporate power being assuaged, and I will always side with those that are more interested in promoting people power, and that's Councilmember Priforce. So thank you.
Love it.
Okay, so now regarding the thing you referred to, the communication plan. This is okay. So I've been for 15 years for the Tattler, and even before that, before the Tattler, with just Kinko copies and putting notices under people's doors in the pre-internet years. I've been, appealing to my government to have more progressive sort of policies being promulgated, but it was the hiring of our current city attorney. His name is, with the unlikely name of John Kennedy. And this was, maybe Councilmember Priforce can tell me, what was it, like 3-4 years ago we hired him? Do you know, Khalima?
Yeah, it was about 3-4 years ago.
3 or 4 years ago, we hired this guy. And we've, of course, we've always had city attorney, every city's got him. And they're supposed to be sort of co-equal power with the city manager. We have a city manager form of government, it's called. And the city attorney and the city manager both serve at the pleasure of the city council. They're supposed to be sort of like, co-equals, and they're supposed to keep each other sort of in check. But this new guy 3 or 4 years ago that was hired happened to come onto the job as a city attorney at a time when we were changing our city managers, and there happened to be a big slack time with no city manager, and so there was no check or balance to this new city attorney named John Kennedy, and so this guy has sort of become, the king of Emeryville. Runs the town, especially in the absence of a city council member that has clearly risen up to take sort of the power, like Nora Davis and after him John Bowders. So the new guy that runs Emeryville is the city attorney, as it turns out, John Kennedy. Oh, so as it turns out, this guy's got a very, very thin skin. And he does not countenance journalists questioning him, and he doesn't like being held to account. But that's my job as a journalist. That's what I do with the Tattler. I hold public servants to account, especially managers at Emeryville City Halls and politicians, elected officials. I hold them to account, and nobody likes to be held to account. I don't even like to be held to account. I've never met a person that likes it. But when you sign on to a management position in a government, in the public sector, that comes with the territory. And so I'm sorry, you have to accept it. And some do better jobs than others. And then it turns out this guy, John Kennedy, does a terrible job. He can't countenance it. He's got a really thin skin. And he immediately went to war against me. And I could go on and on about how the war is manifest. Let's cut to the chase for the communication plan. He cannot abide by me writing negative stories about him and the city and as a whole. And I have done negative stories about his public policy, not about him personally, but about his public policies that he's promoting. And so he concocted this thing called the communication plan, the Tadler communication plan. And it's basically a list of prohibitions, that things that I can no longer do. But these are things, because he's trying to stop the Tadler. But these are things that I have a constitutional right to do. In the United States Constitution, California constitutional right to do it. Like things like he has prohibited in this communication plan, he's prohibited me from speaking with city employees after public meetings have been adjourned.
Wow.
So but clearly I have a right to do it, and he's threatened to sue me if I do speak to public employees after council meetings have been adjourned and other public meetings. And so I've been calling his bluff, and he's super angry about this. And the police are in my court. It took a while for them to get onto my side. It took me explaining to them about the law, the intricacies of the law. Not every cop knows every law, but I know a lot about First Amendment law, more than most cops, as it turns out. And so I got them. They're now on my side. They're not going to break the law. I'm not going to break the law. And but the city manager no longer has his police force because he threatened to have me arrested if I violated the communication plan. So he saw the Emeryville police as like his Praetorian guard. And I've taken that away from him, but he still is threatening to sue me if I violate the communication plans. And there's a law in the state of California called the SLAPP. It's SLAPP, Strategic Litigation Against Public Participation. It's a law in the state of California. You can't do that. And to even threaten a SLAPP suit is illegal. And that's where we have our city attorney right now, breaking the law vis-a-vis the SLAPP suit with his communication plan. It's over the top, crazy, undemocratic.